the air, just randomly. Just follow that side seam, continue it straight up. You can see my pencil line. I just sort of shot up in the air just like so. So, I'm just going to take, I'll do this in red. I'm just going to continue the side seam straight up, just like so. And then what I want you to do is I want you to square over against this line to the apex of the slash line. So it can't be at an angle. It has to be squared directly over to this point. So in other words, this is a 90-degree angle right there. So once again, continue the side seam straight up, no particular distance. And then square over till you hit the apex of the slash line. We'll do the same thing in the back. I'm just going to continue the side seam straight up, and then I'm going to square over till I hit the apex of the slash line. Please make certain that it's at 90 degrees. So you're squaring against this line. This is your guideline. A little bit of math. What I want you to do is I want you to measure the horizontal line of the front and the horizontal line of the back. I want you to add them together and divide them in half. For example, let's say that my front measurement is 2.5 inches. And my back measurement is 2 inches. That's 4.5 inches divided by 2 equals 2 1/4.
Professor, quick question. You're basically measuring that line. Okay.
Once again, measure the two horizontal lines. That's horizontal line 1, that's horizontal line 2. I put them together, I came up with 4.5 inches. I then divided it in half, and I came up with 2 1/4 inches. This is simple math. You look at it like, man, you know, what is he doing?
I didn't take my math class.
Oh, okay. I take mine either. Okay, so is that clear on the math? Then, you just write that number down someplace on the paper. Then I want you to measure one of these dart legs. Doesn't matter which one, these stitch lines. Okay, don't measure the center line. Any one of these stitch lines, doesn't matter which one, just measure. So my measurements are going to be 2 1/4 by 5 1/8. That's my measurement. In other words, when I measured the line, this was 5 1/8. When I did the calculation of these two, that came out to 2 1/4. You should have 2 measurements. You understand where I got the second measurement from? Okay, this is a stitch line. That's a stitch line. That's a stitch line. That's a stitch line. Pick one and measure it. Okay? Just put your ruler right there, measure it, and write it down. That's your second measurement. Questions so far?
Are we also measuring the back the same way?
Look,
Front? Oh, we're only working on the front.
one line.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter which line.
Oh, because they're all equal.
That's right. So pick one.
Okay.
Okay. Now we fold the paper in half. Once. We fold the paper inside in half twice. Watch how I'm holding the paper. Double fold on top, single fold on the left.
What?
Double fold on top, single fold on my left. Starting with the smaller measurement, the 2 1/4. I want you to measure across the top of this paper that smaller measurement, 2 1/4 inches. So here's my 2 1/4 right there.
The what?
The smaller measurement, measure horizontally from the fold straight across till you get to the 2 1/4 inches, or whatever your measurement happens to be. For the second measurement, do not measure down the fold like this. Measure from that 2 1/4 back to the fold, like so. So 5 1/8 for me would be right here.
Professor, what was the top measurement again?
2 1/4 for me.
line.
So this measurement here is 5 1/8. This measurement is 2 1/4. Those are my measurements.
Professor, I didn't get the 5 8.
It's one of these dart legs, these stitch lines.
You don't add and divide?
Nope. Okay, so two measurements. The smaller measurement, I measure across the horizontal axis. The longer measurement, I measure across the bias down to the measurement. And you'll see why, because if I were to measure 5 1/4 straight down, I would wind up, 5 1/8, I would wind up way down there. And my gusset would not fit, it would be too big. Okay, clear so far? And now, to this line, I would want you to add another line 1/2 inch away. Just like so. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace on the inside line with my tracing wheel. And I'm going to cut on the outside line with my scissors.
Professor, before you cut, what's the inside-outside line about? You said 5/8 out?
No.
1/2
1/2 inch
inch.
out.
1/2 inch out?
Seam allowance.
Okay.
And when I cut this piece off, here's your gusset.
Like those snow,
Yeah, when I'm snow days, right.
Can you do that one more time?
I cut the paper up.
Yeah.
Just pretend. Okay. Paper, 15 by 15. I fold the paper in half once. I fold the paper in half twice. Okay, you understand these measurements, or do you want me to go over those?
No, I got this one.
Okay, so I'm holding my paper with a double fold on top and a single fold on my left side. Starting with my smaller measurement,